I think that that's what the biggest thing parents need to learn how to and like remember to do with their kids is to teach them how to be independent and confident in themselves.
In a world that's evolving at the speed of a swipe, the digital landscape can be a bit overwhelming. It's not just about the challenges we face, it's about the opportunities we unlock through understanding, learning, and connection. Young Futures is helping teens and families across America thrive so they have the tools and support they need to navigate the digital world. Together, we'll explore their personal stories and, more importantly, what an unlocked empathy and support between generations can be. Are you guys excited? You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
What would you say you guys main communication is when it comes to social media or texting?
We have a family group chat on iMessage, and that's where we talk the most. That's where everyone just posts updates of their day, or me and my brother, since we're still the kids, and we're living he lives in San Francisco and I live here in college, and so every morning when we wake up, good morning family, and then every night before we sleep and we're back in our house is safe, we're say good night family, and then just updates throughout the day, and then if I'm talking to any of them individually, it's mostly just FaceTime.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I unconsciously watch the kids saying good morning and good night. If they don't, then I call them to make sure they're okay.
What a wholesome dad. I'm gonna flip it up just a bit. Have you ever felt that your self-worth or confidence was influenced by the amount of likes or comments you've gotten on a photo?
People ask me this all the time because I actually post a lot on Instagram. As much as I use my social media as my brand and to promote the things that I care about and what I want people to know about me and what I do, I also just use it for fun and to be relatable. And sometimes I don't get as many likes on posts that I normally do. And if I'm going to be completely honest, it doesn't really affect my self-worth or my self-confidence. I use it as a way to understand if it's relatable or not, or what people are liking versus not liking, so that I can keep the engagement.
Okay, I respect it. Madhu, do you ever, feel like your self-worth or confidence was influenced by your post by chance on Facebook or whatever social media you may use?
I actually care less about what others think, to be honest with you. So the confidence doesn't get a hit. However, sometimes I post information that I believe is useful to people. I got Instagram for myself because I wanted to first to see what she's posting, to be honest with you. So I follow her on all her accounts and such. Now it's less about that and more about me spending a little bit of time looking at what's happening in the outside world, what friends are posting versus what I want to read, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so there's been actually a new word in the New Oxford Dictionary called doom scrolling. Do you ever catch yourself accidentally doom scrolling?
I turned off notifications for everything. Again, it goes by what I want to do versus what others want me to do. So all notifications across all social media are off. And that allows me to control my time in the way I want to do things, when I want to do things.
So with that being said, do you worry about your daughter's digital footprint?
No, I'm not worried, because she's consciously posting things that create a good, decent perception about her views, her ideas, her fun, her life, everything. So no concerns whatsoever.
How is this attitude and the way your dad's values installed with the way you do social media?
I've been taught from a very young age that when you make the decisions you make and that you say the things that you say and you do the things that you do, not only are you creating a reputation and a persona around yourself, you're also creating a reputation and persona around your family.
One of the fundamental things to think about, as the kids are growing up, is to create a very transparent environment, helping them understand everything that's happening in this society or in the family's life. So having those conversations at a much younger age and letting the kids express their opinions eventually will allow them to understand they can also speak up in certain situations.
With your dad's values, did you feel any pressure growing up to meet his standards?
I've grown up very driven. A lot of the things that I've wanted to do have been pressure that I've put on myself. So getting good grades, for example, there's pressure my brother got a 4.0, I need to get a 4.0. It's just pressure that I'm putting on myself.
But it's very hard as parents because, the emotion kicks in first. But you really have to hold on to that emotion and trust your kids and know that those kids are going to grow up and be just fine, accepting their failures and helping them navigate those failures is a really a powerful way to build that confidence in them so that they can actually grow up and be responsible at the same time.
How did you initially get involved with Only 7 Seconds?
Only 7 Seconds has the mission of like talking about how people can be lonely, and it takes only 7 seconds for you to check in with someone, because that 7 seconds can literally change someone's life. A lot of the time people have these are facing these hidden battles that we don't know about, and just because they're fine on the outside doesn't mean they're fine on the inside. And as a friend, as someone who cares about them, it is in some way your responsibility, if you choose to take it upon yourself, to show the person that you love and care about them and that you're there for them when they need it.
And how do you feel like you've grown so far since starting with them?
They have a very specific name for it, but on the 7th of every month, they call it, I think it's check-in day, as a reminder to like tell people to like go and like check in on their loved ones. And I think that working alongside Only 7 Seconds encouraged me to like do that more often. Before, I would just like randomly like check in with people, but I think that now I'm like way more selective and I do it more often. And I think that people's moods can change from day to day. So like, even if I like saw the person yesterday, I can still ask them how they're doing and like how their tests went, or like all these things like now.
Okay, wow, okay. That's really interesting. What do you wish that other adults in your role could understand about today's teens?
To me, it's very important for parents to understand that, we grew up in a different world, kids are growing up in a different world, and just because they're doing something now and you didn't do it then doesn't mean what they're doing is wrong. It's just a different world and a different perspective. So learning to accept and acknowledge those things, it's very important for these kids to live their life a little bit on their own terms as well. And knowing that, it's okay to fail, and knowing that, in the long run, things will be okay.
What my dad said is 100% true. And I think at only 18 years old, I am like fully across the country and living my life in a completely different world than I was back home in Washington. And if my parents didn't instill the values that they did from a childhood to me, and if they didn't teach me how to be independent and confident in myself with like living with how I am and who I am, I would be very much struggling right now. And I think that that's what the biggest thing parents need to learn how to and like remember to do with their kids, is to teach them how to be independent and confident in themselves.
That was truly amazing. Thank you so much for your input, guys, honestly.
Of course. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Really fun talking to you folks.